Hi guys! So I'm here today to film my top 14 of 2014. So I may have cheated a bit and added in a whole series or two, but I really couldn't decide. So this definitely does not include graphic novels or rereads that I've read this year, otherwise a series of unfortunate events would dominate all of this. Okay, so let's get started. I forgot to add that this is not in any particular order except for my last two books, which I could not decide between, but the rest of them are just absolute favourites. So the first book I have is Me and Earl and the Dying Girl by Jessie Andrews. If you think you're going to go on another roller coaster ride like you did with The Fault in Our Stars, think again. This book is just so funny and light-hearted. I laughed out loud quite a few times. And it just follows a boy called, what's his name? Greg. And his mum forces him to be friends with a girl who is dying, and it just follows him and their relationship, and it's just beautiful, so you should all read it. So you know how before I said I may have cheated with series? This is proof. The Breathing series by Rebecca Donovan. It consists of reasons to breathe, barely breathing, and out of breath. You may notice I don't have reasons to breathe here. My friend currently has it. So this series is just beautiful. I experienced a lot of anger throughout it, but it's very a heavy read. But I could not put these down, and they're just absolutely beautiful. It starts off with a girl named Emma, and she lives with her aunt, who is very abusive towards her. It's kind of like Aunt Petunia to Harry, but this aunt actually abuses Emma and is physical towards her, and it, as I said, it is heavy, but it is a fantastic read, and I could not put these books down. The next on my top 14 of 2014 is also another series, and that's the Noughts and Crosses, which I can barely hold up, series by Malorie Blackman. So this series follows Callum, who's a Nought, and Sephy, who's a Cross. Noughts are the inferior group in this society, and the Crosses are the superior group, and it just follows Callum's and Sephy's love while they grow up and the relationship that they have together. This series has so many unexpected and twisted turns. It's just amazing. You can't put this series down. I remember I had uni the next day, and I think I was up to Knife Edge, and I just stayed up until 7 AM, finished it, and then went to uni. I also remember going onto the internet and looking up every single bookshop that I had near me to see who had the next one. And of course, the only one that did was in the city. The next series I have in my top 14 is Contest by Matthew Reilly. This series, the way that I best describe it to someone, is a weird version of the Hunger Games. So it follows a man who gets stuck in this portal with his daughter, and then they get stuck in a library and they have to verse other creatures from different planets in a battle to the death. This book is absolutely fantastic, and Matthew Reilly's writing is perfection. This book is also signed by the man himself. I met him at Brisbane Supernova, and he is just so kind, and he was wearing a Guardians of the Galaxy t-shirt, and if you know someone wearing the Guardians of the Galaxy t-shirt, you know they're cool. Just like Matthew Reilly is. So, normally I'm not one for lovey-dovey happy books, but Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins was unstoppable. It was absolutely perfect, and it follows Anna, who lives in the United States and is forced to go to an international school in France by her father, and here she meets a boy called St. Clair, and it just follows them and their love story, and it's just beautiful and sweet and very heartwarming. I have also read Lola and the Boy Next Door and Isla and the Happily Ever After, also by Stephanie Perkins, but they did not give me that same effect that Anna and the French Kiss did. The next book is The Messenger by Marcus Zusak, which on Goodreads is also called I Am the Messenger for some reason. So it follows Ed Kennedy, who gets notes on playing cards, and it gives him things that he needs to do around his suburb. I actually really was into this book very much because it's set in a suburb that's about 10 minutes away from me, which is where Marcus Zusak grew up. In January last year I found out he was doing a sign-in, so I also went there, and he wrote, "Dear Claire, Here's to Coffee, Cards and Friendship from Marcus Zusak. And he also signed my copy of The Book Thief, which I don't have here, and it says, "From Engadine to my suburb, to our collective home, Sydney," which I thought was very sweet of him, and he's absolutely amazing. So everyone should go read all his books. So the next book is also another love story set in the mid-80s. If that doesn't tell you what it is, then you really need to read this book. Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell is one of those beautiful books that warms your heart, but then the ending, it's all so beautiful. I don't want to give it away, and everyone should read this. It's on a lot of people's favourites for this year. Can't have Eleanor and Park without having Fangirl, also by Rainbow Rowell. This book is just so relatable. It follows Kath, who moves to college with her twin sister, and she's struggling between finishing a fan fiction for Simon Snow, who we all know is really Harry Potter, and it's just her struggles with trying to stay who she is while she moves into a new environment with new people. And it's just so amazing and relatable. I love this book so much. You know how they say don't judge a book by its cover? Well, I did, and I'm really glad it didn't stop me. Cinder by Marissa Meyer is absolutely fantastic. It's a take on Cinderella, and I did not know what to expect, because when I looked at the cover, I thought, this isn't really me. But after watching so many booktube videos, I decided to give it a go, and I'm so glad I did. I have not read Scarlet yet, but it's on my TBR for January, which I will be putting that video up for soon as well. I was a bit hesitant about reading the next author's book because of the ending of their trilogy, but Panic by Lauren Oliver did not fail to impress me. It follows this girl called Hannah and a boy called Dodge, and it's set where there's a competition when they finish school, and it's kind of, you have to do a series of tasks, and the last person standing wins a whole lot of money. I don't know where they got the money from. I actually don't remember. I think it was a pool that everyone in the school puts into. Yes, that's right. And it just follows their friendships, and it shows so much fear and courage and emotion, and this is absolutely beautiful. The next book in my top 14 of 2014 is Everybody Sees the Ants by A.S. King. I don't know why I haven't picked up this book before, or any by A.S. King, but this was fantastic. It follows Lucky Lindemann and his dysfunctional family. Once he gets bullied by Nadir McMillan, his mum ups him and takes him to his aunt's across the country for a holiday. And it's him growing up, and he has these kinds of dreams where he has to help his father out of situations in war. And it's just so amazing, and I love how they contrast each other, and it's just perfect. I really need to read more A.S. King books, I know. The next book is The Book of Ivy by Amy Engel, or Angel, I'm not too sure how to say it. But this book took me by such surprise, and it was fantastic. My friend recommended it to me, and she got the last copy before me, but I went back the next day, and voila, I got it. In a futuristic society where the town is split into the West Falls and the Latimer's, it also has a fence surrounding the area, like it does in the Delirium series by Lauren Oliver. So Ivy comes from the West Falls side of town, and her grandfather made a decision with the other side of town that everyone in the West Falls side would be chosen to marry people in the Latimer side. So since Ivy is a direct descendant of the West Falls, she has to marry the direct descendant of the Latimers, which is Bishop, which is very interesting because she doesn't want anything to do with him. But it is discovered early on that she's been ordered by her father, and they've made a plan to kill Bishop, which is very, very interesting. And this book is just fantastic, and the way it is set out, and there's just so many turns and twists that you don't expect. And I also did read this in one setting, and I absolutely love it. And now we're up to my top 2 favourites. The first one is We Were Lies by E. Lockhart. This book, you can't know anything going into it. It's just absolutely, yes, absolutely perfect, and it made me want to cry so much. It's just short and simple and sweet, and if you haven't read this, you need to get on it. You need to get on this book. And my other favourite for 2014 is Identical by Ellen Hopkins. Ellen Hopkins is one of those beautiful writers, and just everything about her writing I love. I've read most of her books this year, but Identical is the one that has stuck with me, and it's so perfect. And I just love it. Like, look at this writing. It's so, so beautiful. Read this book because I can't give much else away. It's about two identical twins, and it just follows their lives as well. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Do it. So that's my top 14 of 2014. I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know if we had any similar. Leave a message down in the comments letting me know what your top 14 are, or what your any of your favourite books of this year are, or of 2014. That might be a good idea, because it's only about 3 days into 2015. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you very soon. Bye!